My name is Mariana Mazzucato. I'm a professor in the Economics of Innovation at the Science Policy Research Unit of the University of Sussex. The entrepreneurial state tries to debunk the way we think about public policy. So specifically, I look at places like Silicon Valley, but not only, to highlight the entrepreneurial role that the state has played. And by that I mean investing directly in a courageous, mission-oriented way across the whole innovation chain. Because in fact, private finance is often risk-averse. And what we actually require for these kinds of investments across that whole chain is not any kind of finance, but patient, long-term, committed finance. So the entrepreneurial state is about looking at the way in which different public agencies, in a decentralized way, across the globe, have actually provided that strategic, long-run, committed finance. What we learned from past technological revolutions is that what these public investments were important in doing was actually providing a direct channel for actually forming, directly shaping and creating markets, not only fixing them. And I think in Europe today, we're quite sick in the sense that we no longer believe in the public sector. We're constantly bashing, the bureaucracy, the state, and trying to cut it and trying to make, if you want, public resources more efficient, which of course is important, but that's not just about cutting. We should also be reinvesting in different state structures to increase the capacities, the capabilities, and also striking healthy deals with business. The EIB has a very important role, but they cannot, work alone. They also require, I think, public banks within each individual country that they can be working with, also to steer some of the investments. We need knowledge also within those public institutions. This has often been a problem. There's a self-fulfilling prophecy that the less we believe in the state, the harder it is to attract some of the brightest minds to go work in these institutions. I think the EIB is fundamental, especially in an era that we're living through, which is one of financialisation, where the private financial institutions, as we know, for the last 2 decades have been especially funneling money to different types of financial institutions. So finance has been financing finance. So actually having financial institutions like the EIB that are really aiming at the real economy, I think is absolutely fundamental. Now, how they're going to do this, how they're going to be, if you want, co-financing with national funds or working also with the European Central Bank, which some people have been arguing is quite important. So we don't just, have money like QE, being created by QE just ending up in the banks, but actually having it a bit more directed through, serious work with the EIB. Currently, I think having an innovation-led, investment strategy with the EIB playing a central role is the way that Europe is going to survive. The EIB turns out to be absolutely one of the most important of these actors worldwide. But I think what's very important is to structure these portfolios so they remain quite open, so we don't want to put all our eggs in one basket. It's also important to remember that, innovation doesn't just have a rate, it has a direction, even within sectors. And what kind of finance is provided actually helps to determine that direction. There's very little research on this, by the way. We know, for example, that short-term venture capital has affected directionality within biotechnology, creating many PLIPOs, productless IPOs, because of this need to immediately exit after 3 to 5 years of VC financing. I think what's important is also to structure the finance with the EIB investments in such a way that it remains both long-term, but also is attracting, as I mentioned before, the kind of risk analysis that is very much driven also by the science. And I think most scientists would agree that due to serendipity, it's important to keep those options open. I'm very happy to be able to, if you want, manage, what people call this, work-life balance, but I don't see it that way. I think one of the things I would suggest is not to worry about the work-life balance, but to let the two things really mix. So I think my one advice would be not to try to separate the fields of this is my life as a couple, this is my life as a mother, this is my life as work, to try to really not create these boundaries.